Hello, marry me. I've been having a discussion online with this YouTube user who calls herself, I think it's a she, but since she doesn't have any videos, any picture, and so on up, I cannot be sure. So please forgive me if you are a man. But since I think you're a woman, I will refer to you as she in this video. Anyway, the user in question is Kiastar67. And my video titled Pagans Please Stop Bashing Christians have gotten her knickers in a bunch. Now, there are two reasons why I'm making this video. First of all, I'm simply tired of going back and forth with you because really, like my mother say, arguing with a fanatic is like mother wrestling with a pig. So yeah, I don't have the time to do the same, just going through all of it in a video. And you'll just have to take it or leave it. The second reason is not so much for you, but for anybody else who might see your comments and wonder what my actual stance I take in my video is. First, let me address some of your comments, and I'm not going to address all of them because there are so many of them. One of the things that you accuse me of is somehow secretly being a Christian. And you base this on the fact that in my video, at some point I say, yes, there are intolerant Christians, but that doesn't give pagans the right to be prejudiced towards Christians. Now, I am Norwegian. English is not my first language, and so I do speak with a rather heavy Norwegian accent. So where I put pressure on words might be a little bit different from those that are native English speakers. So towards somehow then, and I have listened to the video again, and I can see where you think I say to us instead of to words. However, here's where your responses is simply mind-boggling. I write to you, I explain what I am saying is towards, not to us. And I mean, if you listen to it, you do hear towards. It's just that if you give it a quick listen, it can sound like to us. And you say, oh no, you're just backpedaling. Secretly, you're a Christian. Seriously? Seriously? I mean, I have this little YouTube channel of mine where I have over 300 videos. And while some of them are about the Gorian lifestyle and fantasy, science fiction, and horror and that kind of things, the vast majority, I don't know, 80-90% of the videos are about paganism, magic, witchcraft, new age, the occult, these topics. Why would I go to the trouble of making these videos, promoting these religions, these spiritual worldviews, if I were secretly a Christian? I mean, what makes the most sense to you? That I have an accent, and so towards can at times sound like to us, because I pronunciate the words a bit differently than a native speaker, or that I have made 200 videos or more about paganism, where I say I'm a pagan, where I discuss practicing paganism, but are secretly a Christian. What of these two makes the most sense to you? It just blows my mind that you are still on this point. So yeah, for anyone who might be wondering, I am pagan. More specifically, I am a chaos magician who practice one of the paradigms that I practice the most are Wiccanish paganism. However, and this is the closest I get to being Christian, I consider myself, partly because I am a chaot, to be multi-religious. I think that all religions are a different language to speak with the divine. So that just like I might change my paradigm during a magical working, I can go to a ritual hosted by another religion and get a spiritual benefit out of that because I believe that it all hangs together. And also in my pagan beliefs, I do believe that the Christian God is one of the many, many, many faces of the God. That's as close to being a Christian as I get. Now, to the real meat of the problem. You claim that I am biased and are supporting Christians over pagans. Try to actually watch what I'm saying in that video. I am not saying that. What I'm saying is two things. One is that I think it's wrong that pagans, and that's definitely not all pagans, but some pagans, becomes very prejudiced towards all Christians. I am not saying that you shouldn't fight against uh, those crazy right-wing Christian fundamentalists that are part of the, what do you call it, the Tea Party in the United States, and so on and so forth. I always fight against those. I'm not saying you shouldn't defend yourself and a Christian toss shit about your religion. I'm saying what you shouldn't do is be prejudiced against all Christians because of what some do. How is that being biased towards Christians? Basically favoring them over pagans. Basically, here's the point. Are there a lot of prejudiced Christians that can't tolerate that they're pagans or anybody who believes differently? Hell, they even attack other Christians because these people practice Christianity in a different way than them. Of course there are. And I don't think that's a good stance. And if you want to attack those people, by all means. But there are also so many tolerant, kind, nice Christians out there. And I feel that it is wrong to bash their religion because of what people like Pat Robinson do. Now, I mentioned, for example, my hubby and how he supports me being pagan 100%, even if he's Christian himself. And you say, oh no, then he isn't Christian because Christians, they are completely 100% following the Bible. No, there are no Christians in the modern Western world who follow the Bible 100%, who go by every edict, every little piece of nuance. What you're presenting here is a no true Scotsman argument. It's the same argument that I very often end up in when I'm discussing religion with atheists. It tends to go something like that. They say, oh, all wars are started by religion. And I say, no. What about the second World War? It had nothing to do with religion. Oh, Hitler were religious. And then I give an example, and another example, and another example, and another example. And every time they sort of narrow in the definition or widens it so that their point will still stand. So, for example, it was about the massacres, basically. And I mentioned Pol Pot, and that he actually or was atheist, and his atrocities and so on was based quite a bit about its very communistic, very atheist beliefs. And no, he didn't count because no good reason, but it doesn't count. And this is basically a strawman argument. It's the basically no true Scotsman, no matter what example you say, I'm right, and I will change my definition to be right. Now, if the only people you were bashing were actually Christians who lived 100% by the Bible, 100%, I probably wouldn't have as much problem with it because then they would be killing people left and right. However, that isn't the modern definition of a Christian. I mean, even the politicians you speak of, or radio hosts like Pat Robinson and so on, that are disgusting human beings, they are not living 100% by the Bible. So no, it's a non-argument to say that, if they are tolerant Christians, clearly they must be not Christians then. No, that, that doesn't work. There are a lot of tolerant Christians. I would say that there are far more tolerant Christians than intolerant ones. Excuse the sound, there is just pouring rain outside. So if you hear any hissing or something like that, it's because of the rain. Anyway, my other point with the video is that monkey fling poo doesn't work. Here's the point. I am not saying that these Christians that make derogatory statements about paganism is right in any way. But I'm saying that bashing them in return isn't productive. Now, just to make it very clear, I feel that if somebody attacks you, there's nothing morally wrong with attacking them back, by all means. However, just having a monkey flinging poo contest, it won't help. Let me take an example. In the news in Norway lately, there's been this very, very Christian conservative politician has spoken up for denying gay people to adopt children, saying that all children have the right to a mother and a father. Now, do you think that just flinging poo, saying, "Yeah, you're a scum, you're an asshole, your religion shit, yab, 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 yab," do you think that would help any? Would that change his views? Would that change the views of those that might agree with him or might not? Would it change any hearts and minds? No, it would do nothing. However, his views were sort of basically beaten back because so many people told him, first of all, your ideas isn't based on fact. There are no studies that indicate that children raised by gay parents are any worse off than children raised by heterosexual parents. Secondly, all studies show that children are better off if they grow up in a loving, caring environment with two parents. So even if we say that your hypothesis is right, that it's better for children to grow up with heterosexual parents, it's better for them to grow up with parents at all than to grow up in foster care or in an orphanage. So basically, by refuting these claims in a calm, respectful manner, a lot more people went, "Oh, yeah, actually, his point doesn't make sense." And that is what I am addressing in my video. Basically, intolerance only breeds more intolerance. I mean, I know a Christian, and he says he's always been respectful of pagans, always accepted pagans, but he has this pagan friend who constantly bashes him because he's Christian. And that makes him look at pagans less favorably. And that's how it works. It's a vicious cycle. Or let me take an example for myself. Basically, I've met so many atheists who have bashed me for my religious beliefs. And bashed anybody who is religious. I've even been attacked physically by an atheist. And while I definitely try to fight it, that makes me less positive towards atheists. I mean, it's not right, but when I hear someone's an atheist, I get this knot in my stomach, and I have to fight the urge to think, then you're probably an asshole. And here's the point: if I gave into that urge and then started treating all atheists as shit because of what some people have said and done, then they would get even more incentive to be hateful towards pagans. That's how it works. And basically, the best weapon to end intolerance is to be tolerant. Now, being tolerant does not mean being a doormat. It does not mean laying down and saying, oh, I'll accept anything you say. No. But when you refute a Christian, or a Muslim, or a Hindu, or anybody who bashes your religion or have religious views that you feel are wrong, bashing everybody with the same religious ideas is equally wrong. You, for example, compare every Christian to members of the Ku Klux Klan, saying that, oh, surely they are nice members of the Ku Klux Klan, surely some of them love their mothers and their dogs. Yeah, I would, first of all, most of them love their mothers and their dogs. It's not their mothers and their dogs they hate. It's other people. People that's different from them. I have a little secret for you. You're not living in a DC comic world where you have villains who hate flowers and butterflies and mothers and dogs, and then you have the good people. No, no. But anyway, point is, comparing Christians generally to the Ku Klux Klan, how is that not as bigoted, hateful, and intolerant as those Christians who say that all pagans are evil? It's the same thing. You say, oh no, pagans aren't intolerant. Yeah, because if you're pagan, if your religious beliefs are nature based, then you magically become immune to being intolerant. No. Those kind of statements are intolerant. And it's just as wrong for pagans to be intolerant as for Christians to be. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't defend yourself or even shouldn't attack back when somebody attacks you, but attack that person, not his or her entire religion. That's my point. You also say I'm biased. Tell me, how is saying I think it's wrong when Christians are intolerant, when pagans are intolerant, when Muslims are intolerant, when Hindus are intolerant, when Buddhists are intolerant? I think it's wrong for anybody to judge and be hurtful towards and to bash anybody else based on their religion. How is that being biased? So, yeah, just to sum this up because this video is getting way too long, I am not saying all Christians are, pun intended, saints. There are a lot of Christians who are judgmental and intolerant toward other faiths, including paganism, and I think that is bad. I don't think that's something that is positive at all, and I definitely think that if somebody is rude and intolerant towards you, you can be rude and intolerant towards that person. What I'm saying is that you shouldn't bash their entire religion for two reasons. One, then you are doing exactly the same as you're bashing them for doing. And second, that just breeds more intolerance. I am not Christian myself. I do, however, respect Christianity very much when it is practiced in a moderate and tolerant way. If practiced in such a way, I think there's a lot of great things about Christianity. Same with Islam. I think there's great things in about every religion. Now, just to finish up, I have a few points uh, that you fling at me constantly that I want to reply to. First of all, you say that, but if I have accent, why do I make videos in English? Why don't I just stick to Norwegian? Because there's so many more English speaking people than there are about 5 million Norwegians. Therefore, I make my videos in English. Secondly, you say, yeah, but then I shouldn't make videos. Basically, if you can't stand hearing my accent, there are several million other videos on YouTube. Go watch them. So yeah, I hope that we can one day live in a society where people accept that others have different religious views. That's why I made the video that you comment on. That does not make me Christian. It does not make me biased. If anything, I am biased in favor of paganism since I am a pagan myself. But I don't like intolerance. Oh, yeah, and one more thing. You complain that I called you sweetie. But here's the point. I generally address people the way people address me. When your first comment to me is, are you being a true sweetie? Then I will reply in kind. When you speak to me as if I'm a 3-year-old because I have a different view than you, I will address you in the same way. If you treat me with respect, I will respect you and your opinions even if they differ from mine. When you treat me disrespectfully, I will also treat you disrespectfully. And saying that I'm a hypocrite then because I preach tolerance? No. I have never said accept anyone's treatment of you. I've said don't touch anyone who happen to be in the same category as the one who is being rude to you. So to try to put this in terms that you might possibly understand. I don't think there's anything wrong for me to treat you the way you treat me. To be as disrespectful to you you are to me. What I think would be wrong is for me to treat every American disrespectfully because you have been disrespectful to me. That's my point. I have seen nothing wrong with treating Christians who have bashed you disrespectfully. I see there's something wrong in treating all Christians disrespectfully and bashing their religion based on what some people may or may not have done to you. Have I made it clear now? Hopefully. So, yeah, thank you for the debate. I'm done with you. Have a great day and blessed be.